Parashat Noach, the story of Noah, has much to teach us about life in pandemic. It is written, at the end of 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark that he had made and sent out the raven. Remember, that was the first test. And the raven went to and fro until the waters had dried up from the earth. But we never hear in the text that the raven returned, and so it's implied that it didn't. Second attempt. Then Noah sent out the dove to see whether the waters had decreased from the surface of the ground. But the dove could not find a resting place for its foot and returned to Noah at the ark, for there was water all over the earth. Putting out his hand, Noah took the dove into the ark with him. Third attempt. He waited another 7 days and again sent out the dove from the ark. The dove came back this time to Noah toward evening time, and there was in its bill a plucked off olive branch. Then Noah knew that the waters had decreased on earth. So you'd think third time is a charm. You'd think this was the signal that Noah was waiting for to finally fling open the doors of the ark and to descend onto terra firma once again. He knew the challenges of a noisy, messy, stinky ark. He knew the challenges of boredom. He knew the challenges of isolation and loneliness. But no, he didn't leave the ark then, not even after the dove returned with the olive branch. The Torah text continues, Noah waited still another 7 days and sent the dove forth yet again. This time it did not return to him. The waters began to dry from the earth, and when Noah removed the covering of the ark, he saw that the surface of the ground was drying up. So you'd think that would be the moment that Noah would fling open the doors and make his descent to dry ground. But no, still not yet. Was it the fear of the unknown? What was holding Noah back then, even when the dove brought evidence that there was dry ground? There could be many reasons to hesitate, to leave the safety of the arks that we have constructed over these 18 months. Many good reasons to stay, actually. It isn't until, and we don't know how much time lags between the fourth step and the fifth step, but finally we hear that God spoke to Noah, saying, "Come out from the ark, together with your wife and your sons' wives. Bring out with you every living thing of all flesh that is with you, birds, animals, and everything that creeps on earth, and let them swarm on the earth and be fertile and increase on earth." And only then did Noah come out from the ark together with his family. It took God's command to persuade Noah that it was time to advance. And this is our story too. While some may have over the last 18 months, and even now, some may be moving too quickly, I wonder if there is such a thing as moving too slowly. And I really ask that question with all sincerity. Is there such a thing as moving too slowly out of lockdown? There is a well-known midrash that answers part of the question, saying Noah's hesitancy, his reluctance to leave the ark, was wrapped up in his faith in God. That he says, according to rabbinic legend, God was the one who commanded me to build the ark, to enter the ark, to close, and God closed me in, closed the door. So who am I to leave the ark without God's command? And so I'm going to stay put, and I will wait for God's voice. So the rabbis, in this case, applaud Noah's faith in God. If only we had the all-knowing voice from on high to tell us when and where and how it is safe to emerge from the arks where we have been living for so long now. I'll share with you that Monday night I took another step out of my ark, so to speak. It was Jesse's birthday this week. And Jesse's a very even kind of guy. There are a few things that excite him. One is music and the other is raptors. So we decided to go to the pre-season game on Monday night, which was not mostly empty, it was significantly empty. And we knew it would be, and that gave me an extra measure of comfort. We also knew they were checking that all teenagers and adults were fully vaccinated, and they were really strict about checking with photo ID and everything. So it felt pretty great to be there, I have to say, until it didn't, and I was ready to go. I waited till the end of the game, but I got a little itchy at the end, and we made our way. It was a great time. And I only share this with you as an example of how each one of us, and I know that's true for those who have come here tonight, some for the first time, and for those who are at home, we are all making choices every day now about what is a measured risk and what is a healthy step to take forward for my own physical well-being, for my spiritual well-being, for my emotional well-being. It's so important that we're asking these questions. So let me conclude with one more teaching from the Talmud. It was taught that Rabbi Yossi was once walking along the way, and he entered into a ruin of a holy site in Jerusalem. He entered into that ruin of Jerusalem in order to pray. And lo and behold, Elijah the prophet appeared to him and waited at the entrance of the ruin for Rabbi Yossi to emerge and for him to conclude his prayer. And when I finished my prayer, Rabbi Yossi recalls, Eliyahu Hanavi said to me, Shalom Aleichem. And I said to him, Aleichem Shalom. And then Elijah asked me, my son, why did you enter this ruin? And I said, to pray. And Elijah then said to me, you should have prayed on the road. And I responded, but I feared that passers-by would interrupt my prayer. And Elijah said to me, it would have been better for you to offer a short prayer on the road rather than a full prayer in the ruin. And at that moment, I learned 3 things, Rabbi Yossi said. First, one should not enter ruins. Second, it is permissible to pray along the road. And third, one who prays along the road should offer an abbreviated prayer. Why do I share this drash with you? What does it mean? What is the warning not to enter a ruin? It means don't enter places that were remnants of what was. Rabbi Yossi was longing for the Jerusalem that once was, but it is no more. That Jerusalem was once perfect, but in his time it is destroyed, a pile of rubble. And to go back there is not to face reality. And it's better then, according to Eliyahu Hanavi, to pray on the road, which is open and clear of rubble. What else does that second piece of advice come to teach? That it's good to go out onto the open road to pray? It's healthy to be with other people. Remember, Rabbi Yossi said, I'm afraid the passers-by would interrupt my prayer. And Eliyahu says, it's good to be with passers-by. It's okay if they interrupt your prayer. Find a healthy way to be in the open air. Find a way to offer your prayers on the sidewalks and on the hiking trails and soon on the ski trails. And what about that third piece of insight that came from Eliyahu to Rabbi Yossi? that brevity is also okay. It's okay to step out of the ark for a moment and then retreat back inside. It's okay to have a short visit with a loved one. It doesn't need to be long. You don't have to stay for, the full game. You can come, and this is the rabbi telling you, you don't even have to come for the whole service. You can come late, you can leave early, but if you feel the pull to come to Holy Blossom, follow your instinct. It's a good Jewish instinct. Let your feet follow your heart and come just for a time and see for yourself that this is a very controlled environment with many safety protocols set by all kinds of experts and the leaders of the congregation who care about your well-being very much. We don't have the luxury of God's voice commanding us when and how and where to go, when to leave the ark the way Noah did. But we do have that voice of conscience guiding us. We do have the voices of loved ones guiding us to make good and healthy decisions. And on this Shabbat Noach, I encourage you, please, to take advantage of this Shabbat, to have another look, to reconsider the patterns that you've established for yourself, and to revisit when and where and how you may wish to reevaluate and find a healthy way to be in the world. Shabbat Shalom.